County Post Sports. We're doing a Jefferson County High School report brought to you by Angie Cox State Farm, located in Jefferson City, Tennessee. I'm David Swan here with Angie Stanley, and we have Coach Spencer Riley with us today. Coming off a big win last week. I hear the atmosphere was tremendous. How did you feel about what the fans brought to the team?
Well, it was great. It was a great atmosphere. This place was packed. You know, there was a bunch of people here. Still could probably get another couple thousand people in here, but it was still roughly around 8,000 people here. So it was an exciting time. The atmosphere was great. The kids were wide open. The student section, they were wide open and crazy, and it was just a fun time and a fun place to be at.
That's what you want to have, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned last week that the physicality, the intensity is what you really wanted to see. Scoreboard aside, you really wanted to see them bring that. How did your team do in that area?
Well, I thought in the first half we didn't do a very good job of that. In the second half, we come out and we set the tempo in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and it was a very physical tempo on both sides of the football, and I was really pleased with what I seen.
Now, if you had to say, you know, some players show up on the stat sheet, some show up in the coach's heart because they're doing what you want. Is there a guy out there that just kind of living what you're wanting them to do right now? A guy that's starting to get it?
Yeah, you know, I think Jalen Stansberry, he's our starting center. They don't, an offensive lineman never gets any credit. And look, and I'll try to praise on those guys as much as I can because nobody knows. All they see is their bad stuff they do. They never really see what good they do. He's starting to get it. You know, he's been at center for 3 weeks now, so he's starting to understand. He's starting to pick up what we're wanting. Yeah, he still has some mistakes here and there, but the mistakes are getting lesser and lesser.
And then also, I noticed that there was a couple times that Bryson was in panic mode. What are we doing to toughen up that first line of defense on the O-line to keep him from getting panicked?
Well, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a panic mode by Bryson, but for us up front, we just didn't execute very well. We just had some missed assignments and turned some guys loose, and they just were in his face too quick, too fast. You know, and that's coming with a very inexperienced group of offensive linemen that between all of them, I think 2 of them were returning starters that had games started. So, you know, that's something that we kind of struggled with. And in the second half, we were better. We made those corrections, and we got those corrections made at halftime. And it's like I talked to the guys, we got to take our adjustments. We got to start making our adjustments sooner on the sideline during the quarter and a half instead of waiting to halftime to get those adjustments made.
Talk a little bit, somebody else who had a spectacular game on Friday night against Carter was Michael Ealy. How did it feel to see him actually shining through, and him and Chris honestly working together to make it very confusing for the Carter defense?
Yeah, I mean, we have a plethora of running backs back there right now. We can put, we got Michael Ealy, Chris Hawkins, and Corey Garcia. All 3 of those are tailbacks, and then we also you throw Clay Woods into the mix. You know,
who also, by the way, had a great game.
Yes, you know, for a fullback to have 70 yards rushing, that's a pretty impressive night. You know, we're excited about all those guys. They're all doing their part of their jobs, and they all have different niches they do well. So, you know, we would just work off of one another and see which part of their niche was working better that night.
You mentioned first game and second game is when you see some of the biggest areas of improvement. Did you see what you were looking for in improvement in any of your units? Which ones shined from improvement from first week to second week?
Yeah, you know, we didn't necessarily make as big as improvements as I want us to make with consistency. Our consistency was not very good when it come down to doing our assignments and techniques and fundamentals, snap in and snap out. Again, we struggled in the first half doing those things, getting our checks made, knowing who to block, you know. But in the second half, we came out and we were on our point. We were on point on our P's and Q's, and you know, in the second half, we just sort of just physically took over the football game and just dominated and broke their wheel in the second half.
And really, that's what football is about. If you don't know your assignment, it's hard to be physical. If you can't be physical, you can't break their will, and that's the point of the game.
Yes, sir.
Which kind of brings us to Maryville. They're consistent. play in, play out. If you had to say what they're about, they're not flashy. They're just consistent. They know their job and they go out and do it, don't they?
Yes, they do. You know, and a lot of these kids have been doing the same jobs that they're doing now in high school since they've been in 6th and 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So, you know, it's definitely a consistent game for them. They've had consistency over there as a coaching staff for the last 15 years. I'd say, I think that's about how long George's been there. It's been a long time anyways. So they have the consistency they need there. They keep working at it every day. They're doing the same stuff over and over every day. So when you do something over and over every day and you do it correctly, you get really good at it.
And George Quarles is a native son as well. Tremendous record as a coach. Really, as a high school coach, he's kind of the pinnacle at this point, done it year in and year out. And I'm assuming that's the type of program, the consistency, year in and year out, that you're looking to build here, isn't it?
It is. You know, it is definitely what we're looking for year in and year out, is the consistency of being a fundamentally sound football team that has the consistency with our staff, with our kids, getting our middle schools to get on board with us, to do things the way we do it, to make our football team here in high school a better football program.
Maryville comes in. What's the challenge?
Well, you know, Maryville is who it is. You know, just like I told the kids, I said, it's going to be a test for us. It's a test to see where we're at. It doesn't really reflect it's Maryville. It's just a test. We're the third test of the year. Where are we going to be as a football team? Where are we going to be at doing the fundamental things right? They just happen to be the next opponent on the team or on the schedule. So, you know, we got to come out and do what we're supposed to do, assignment-wise. We have to be sound. We have to do our job as consistently as Maryville does, and we got to create some turnovers.
You speak creating turnovers. Coaches love turnovers as long as it's the other team. How are you doing protecting the ball, and how are you doing creating turnovers so far?
Yeah, we're creating a lot of turnovers. You know, I think we've forced a total two last week. Do we have 4 the week before? I think so. We had 6 in 2 ball games. We've turned it over twice, I think. So we're +4 in the turnover margin. Whenever you're plus, it's a good thing. In the turnover margin means we're getting more and we're giving up. So, you know, we're definitely on the plus on that side. And our kids are doing a great job of getting the football out, taking care of the football. At times we do have bad ball security, but it's something you preach every day: ball security, ball security, ball security. And they're getting better with it each and every time we go out on the practice field.
Sound football, do your assignment, impose your will. Is that Patriot football right now?
That is Patriot football right now. You know, it's where we got to be.
We'd like to thank Angie Cox State Farm, located in Jefferson City, for this Jefferson County High School report. Welcome to Big Orange Breakdown, brought to you by Peak Rehab, located in beautiful White Pine, Tennessee. Tennessee is about to kick off. We're just it's right on the horizon, a day or two away now.
Yes.
And, I'm excited. I'm very excited. Depth and talent that we haven't seen in a while.
It's been a really long time since we've seen the depth and talent. Team 120 is actually really pumping up to be one of the best teams that maybe the University of Tennessee has ever seen, but the hype is right now that it feels like 98.
And right now it's just hype.
It's just hype,
So
but we're going to see soon.
They got to go out and do it. They got to go out and do it. But the pieces are in play. You've got a running game. You've got a defense headed up by a defensive line, strong defensive line. Everything starts there really on defense. You've got depth in the secondary. You've got playmakers at every level of the defense. You've got a returning quarterback who has proven successful. Really, the only thing that we're looking for is make sure we don't get too many injuries at tackle on the offensive line, and to make sure that we can have a deep passing game.
Especially keeping Jalen Hurd healthy has been a hard feat in the past, but He's perfectly healthy now. We've seen all the hype videos. We've seen his workouts. We've seen him at the press conferences. The orange and white game, he actually had a very impressive showing off there. So I'm really excited to see what that kid can do. Dobbs' accuracy, supposedly, in practices, from what I have seen during practice, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, much better.
Much better. He's really finally coming into his own as a player and as a leader, which is something that the Vols have lost in years past. But they have reacquired the leadership of their seniors now.
And it's their playmakers that are leaders too. And that's one of the things that you really can't underestimate, how important it is to have your leaders also be playmakers on the field. Jalen Reeves-Maven, you've got Dobbs, you've got in the secondary Cam Sutton. You just have them on every level of the field who are not only leaders but playmakers. It's really important. And Jalen Hurd has been working on his speed and his quickness over the offseason. So working on that speed and quickness over the offseason hopefully will turn into some bigger plays, some bigger runs.
And I honestly think that we'll see Cam Sutton's name a whole lot more this season. I really think during practice he has really just shined. He's really just come through and made the plays that he has been expected. And I really think that we're going to see a lot more from him this season also.
There was a little bit of a concern up until the last few days about depth in defensive tackle. You had Shy Tuttle was out with an injury, just working his way back into the rotation. And Alexis Johnson had been away from the team and has just come back to the team. Both of those players are looking good right now, and the talk is that they're going to be in the rotation sooner rather than later. And in the case of Alexis Johnson, the pleasant surprise is he's the real deal apparently.
Exactly. He has looked very impressive during practices. Coach Jones has mentioned his name in several of the press conferences, and I'm really excited to see what this kid is really made out of. And also there is another one that we need to keep our eye on. It's freshman. No, he's a junior college transfer, Mutombo.
Jonathan Congo.
Oh,
absolutely.
and I am telling you what, this kid is a beast. I come up to his belly button.
Yeah, he's a very large man and he can move as well.
Yeah, and he's agile.
It really reminds me, we've had the privilege to be talking with Coach Spencer Riley earlier today and have him back in county, and it reminds me of what the teams looked like when he was a part of that ball program. Really big, impressive, fast, just tremendously athletic teams. Now, will it translate on the field? Butch Jones has a culture in place, and I think it will. So that's what we're looking forward to coming up. This has been the Big Orange Breakdown, brought to you by Peak Rehab, located in beautiful White Pine, Tennessee. Welcome to the fifth quarter, brought to you by the Dandridge General Store, located in historic downtown Dandridge Square. Andrew, we've got Appalachian State. It's right around the corner. Boom, it's on top of us. What do you see from the game?
I see the Vols completely dominating. Appy State, I don't think it's going to be as wide of a spread as the predictions are saying, because Appy State always comes in and surprises these big schools. But with that being said, I really think that it's going to be a preview and a precursor of what the rest of the season is going to look like for the Tennessee Volunteers. They are really
ready.
They are ready. The hype has been strong. The buzz on campus has been amazing. It's going to be a good game, good hard-hitting game. I don't think they're going to take it easy on Appy State.
You know, in my mind, the name of it is depth and talent. Appalachian State's going to have trouble matching up with that talent, and particularly the depth of talent over the period of the game. I really do think at halftime this game may be closer than what Tennessee fans may be comfortable with. But by the end of the fourth quarter, not only do I think they're going to cover, I think it's a 20-point spread right now, according to the so-called experts. I think 3 touchdowns, maybe even more, is a very legitimate end of the game score. After a halftime that kind of leaves you going, wow, I'm not sure that was what I expected. I think the second half is when it's going to really explode. I just think Appalachian State's going to have trouble with that kind of depth and that kind of talent over and over and over. It's one thing to tackle Jalen Hurd. 2 or 3 times. It's another thing to tackle him 10 or 15 times.
Yes.
It's one thing to stop Preston Williams from completing a pass over the safety with the corner underneath once. It's another thing to do it 3 or 4 times in a row. I think they're going to struggle with that long term, but early on, I think they'll give us a pretty good fit because they're just frankly a good football team.
They really are, and honestly, they have given several other D1 schools a run for their money in the past.
Clemson last year.
Yeah, Clemson last year. And everybody knows about the University of Michigan's debacle a couple of years ago.
Yeah. But
that was bad coaching on University of Michigan's part, but you know, it still happened. Yeah. And so we just gotta, as long as the Vols don't overlook Appalachian State, I think they won't have any problems whatsoever.
In my mind, I see a little bit of a slow offensive start for the Vols. I could be absolutely wrong. Could come out and score on the very first play. It's that unpredictable. This team in this situation is that unpredictable. But what I see is possibly a 2 to 3 touchdown first half and giving up 3 points or maybe a touchdown at some point to Appalachian State, but mostly stuffing the run early on in the game and then running away with it in the second half.
I really honestly see them at least one touchdown, allowing one touchdown in the first half, and then maybe their secondary bringing in letting another touchdown go through. Because if, late in the game, the secondary comes in and, these guys or maybe even like third string, these guys don't see a lot of playing time. So I see them letting another touchdown come through. I really honestly think it's going to be a 3-touchdown game between the 2 scores, but I think the score is going to be a little bit higher than what most Vol fans are expecting.
I will make this prediction. If Appalachian State scores more points than we think they're going to score, it'll partially be because Bob Shoop is not blitzing as much as he normally will. I don't think he's going to blitz very much in this first game. Now don't get me wrong, Bob Shoop blitzes all the time, so he will blitz with his defense, but I don't think he's going to just unload on Appalachian State because he doesn't need to.
Right.
Why show all that when you have Virginia Tech and the Battle of Bristol coming up?
Yeah, the Pilot Flying J Battle at Bristol is going to be a week from Saturday. And it's going to be the second game of the season. A lot of people are thinking it's the first, but it's not. We've got one this week. And we will have full coverage from the sidelines available for you at jeffersoncountypost.com, and also my personal Facebook page, Angie Stanley. Just look me up.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. This has been the 5th quarter, brought to you by Dandridge General Store, located in historic downtown Dandridge Square.